So now I get to tell you about a traveler lost on a rainy night. A traveler was lost on a rainy night, and she stumbles across a monastery. And the monks there took her in and gave her shelter. And fortunately, she was just in time for dinner, which turns out to be the best fish and chips dinner she ever had. And after dinner, she goes into the kitchen and asks, "Excuse me, but who cooked that delicious meal?" And two of the brothers stepped forward in response and said, "Hello, I'm Brother Michael, and this is Brother Charles. Pleased to meet you both," she said. "I just wanted to thank you for that wonderful dinner." And both brothers smile and just kind of sheepishly say, "Thank you, it was our pleasure." And out of curiosity, she asked, "Who cooked what?" And Brother Charles said, "Well, I'm the fish fryer." You know where this is going. And she winces and turns pale and says to the other brother, "Oh no, then you must be," he goes, "Yes, I'm the chipmunk." Oh, yeah, here we go. So, good morning. And so, if you were here with us last week, you saw a beautiful, clever, meaningful, poignant, I don't even want to call it a performance. It was a sharing by our Theater of the Spirit. Let's give them a hand. If you were here last week, they were awesome. And Ann Gerlach, right there. Isn't that beautiful? Who wrote it. So beautiful. And what they shared was about forgiveness, about really being peace. And I realized that technically the season for peace and nonviolence ended last Sunday, but I still just had a little bit more to say about peace. And I want to say to you that I'm really working with this. Inevitably, this is what happens with ministers. At least it's what, when we kind of, sit down and we start talking to each other. Whatever we are inviting you to do, we get to work on it first, trust me. Boy. So, we talked about being peace and what that's all about. And how do we be peace? And being the foundation of our actions and what we have. Remember, be, do, have. Okay, that's kind of the formula for how life flows. How we're being lays the foundation for how we act in the world. And then what we do, we create our life experience, right? Okay, so last week we were talking about how we be peace. And it's about us, it's about us letting go of disowning our true nature. How we be peace is really claiming our true nature as peace. And I can imagine that can be an opportunity for us to just really work with some things because we are all in our life experience right now, and I can imagine that every single one of you might be able to find something in your life where maybe you don't feel completely peaceful. And so we can look at that and say, how can I be peace in the midst of whatever that is? And it's amazing how all the messages flow together. This really isn't planned, but it's just, infinite wisdom, moving and expressing, in me and with all of us. If you were here on Easter Sunday, every single time that we'd have a story of conflict in our life where we're not experiencing peace, we have a story about it, right? There's a story, there's a reason. And so what we talked about on Easter Sunday, in order for us to rise strong, and in this context, in order for us to rise strong in our knowing that we're peace, is that we get to really look at the story that we're telling about why we're not being peaceful. And I can imagine that in that story, maybe we might be missing this crucial detail. Oh, wow, I really am peace. Peace is my nature. And I want you to know, I'm going to share with you an experience that I'm working with right now because I want to lead into a conversation about how we act from peace. So Keisha talked to me on Friday afternoon, and I was not in a good mood. No, I was not, and I'm going to own it. Because I'm living in this new house, and you've heard about my new house, and I love living in Maryland now. And yeah, I know, it's so fun. And I'm living in this new complex. And so it's being built. And so when I moved in, we asked, the person in the model, like, so those houses over there are being built, when will they be completed? Because we thought there's going to be some construction noise. So she goes, by May. Well, there was a little detail she didn't tell us, that there were going to be 4 more houses that were being built right across from my dining room window, and there's going to be 6 more built right across from my bedroom window. And so on Friday, because I don't have my office set up yet, I was at my dining room table, and someone shared there was a service for Alan Quay on Friday, so I was writing that, and I was, working on my talk for this morning. And all I heard was beep, beep, beep. And then the workers decided right after lunch to crank up that bonk, 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 bonk. They were having a party around their car. And I just thought, this is really a B-rate comedy. I mean, this is to the point where, when you get to the point that it gets so bad, okay, something's working for me here. And so by the time Keisha talked to me at 5 o'clock, and we had a little glitch with the memorial service, we got it all fixed, but I was like, and the poor staff, they get to see Sheryl with her hairy knuckles and horns sometimes. Sorry, Keisha, I love you. So I started rumbling with this whole story because, man, let me tell you, I had a story about it, and I was feeling pretty victim-y. It's like, I can't even feel peaceful in my own house. What in the world, How can I be peace? I'm telling these people to be peace and then to act peaceful. So I want you to know I've really been working with this. And so what I got was the story I'm creating that has me not be peaceful is that I'm a victim. I'm a victim to this whole construction deal. I feel completely powerless. It's going to happen whether I'm sitting there pacing the floor and resisting and calling Keisha going, or not. Or whether I'm, being in meditation or relocating to the library, whatever. So what is mine to do to be peace and then to act peace in this situation? So I just thought, I've got to rumble with my story. I've got to really look at what's going on for me. And am I really a victim? No, I'm not. I'm not a victim to what's happening around me. Because the truth is, I am infinite wisdom, and there are many different possibilities. Maybe, just maybe, my essence is working with me, to get out of my house and maybe go meet some people in Maryland at the library or something. The bottom line is that I can be peace because I know that I'm not a victim in life, and I know that I'm infinite peace and that there's infinite possibilities to work with to move through this situation peacefully. And that maybe this is trying to deepen me in my awareness of the truth of what I am. I can use it that way. And so, remember we talked about be, do, and have. So if I can just be peaceful, what is mine to then do? Because I tell you what, if I am in a consciousness of victimhood, my actions, I can tell you, they are not very peaceful. Are you with me? Yeah, when you're really in it and you're really stirred up and you're really just, I don't know. I'm not the most generous, hi, how are you? Yeah, with the grocery store person or on the road driving or, you see. So it's just in those moments when we're not feeling peaceful, what is ours to do to be peace? first of all, really look at the story that we're telling and to ask ourselves, am I being a victim here? And is that the truth of me? Am I a victim in this situation? And when we get to the truth, no, we're really not, then what is ours to do? Because when we can release being a victim, all of a sudden there's space for us to create a vision of something else. There's room for our power of imagination to work and go, wait a minute. Oh, I see myself in the library working very peacefully on my talks on Friday. Maybe that's what's mine to do. Or I can just be at my dining room table having a cup of tea and just letting it go around me, and I can just breathe and know everything's okay. You see? And this talk was also inspired by the conversation yesterday here in this room about Reverend Alan Quay. You know, I was so humbled to officiate his celebration of life. He was a visionary, and he was in action about that vision. And it was so inspiring for me to sit here, or to stand here, and to also sit and hear the eulogies of people that worked hand in hand with Alan Quay, literally putting up these walls. We are sitting in this room right now, folks, because of a vision of a man and a woman that said, I'm taking a stand. I'm taking a stand. This is my vision of what I know is possible. And they were in action about it. They were in service about it. And so what came to me as I was reflecting about all of this in the midst of this situation for myself, that for me, the greatest way for me to get over myself and to get out of a victim mentality is to go get beyond myself and go be in service somewhere. And I tell you what, when I was here yesterday, just being in service, sharing, about Alan Quay, I just completely forgot about what was going on at home. And when I got back home, I was just able to just be in my knowing. It's okay. Are you following me? Yeah. So when we can look at where we're not feeling peaceful, look at the story we're telling about it, ask ourselves, are we a victim? And that's not true. We're not. We can feel that way. And please be gentle with yourself if you're feeling that way. Don't beat yourself up, because that's another way to not be peaceful, right? Yeah. And if you want to know what to do to get yourself over yourself, it's to go be peaceful in service. Is to see beyond ourselves. Because, folks, I tell you what, when we're in that victim place, boy, it can just feel like, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and our world can get very small. And so what came to me, again, when I was hearing about Reverend Alan Quay and the level of service that he was in his life, everywhere he went, he built something beautiful. Everywhere he went, he expressed his servant heart. I thought, yes, that's the way to be peace in this world. That's the way to embody service, to get beyond ourselves and to serve, to love each other in that way. And there's a Bible verse I wanted to share with you about it. Through love, serve one another, for the whole world is fulfilled in one word. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. I tell you what, folks, our nature is love. And when we can serve from the love that we are, it just moves us beyond our stories. It moves us beyond whatever we're swirling about that doesn't feel peaceful. So, active peace is when we serve, is when we get beyond ourselves and we give of our gifts and talents. And so I want to call up our community because, again, from yesterday, I saw pictures of people in service here at Unity of Gaithersburg. They had their sleeves rolled up. Catherine was one of them. Do you guys know, I'm going to tell on you. Do you know that Reverend Catherine Sutherland designed and created that window out in the lobby? Folks, it's so beautiful. This church was built on love. This church was built on active service. And so what I want to invite you to do is to start let's do it. Let's be in active service in this community. On May 15th, we are having a community meeting, a brief community meeting to tell you where we are in terms of the Rejuvenation Fund and whatever we're doing, and you'll hear from your board. And I just want to plant a seed this morning with you. What is your vision of this community? What is your vision of this community being in service? Because, folks, as we are in active service, we're creating peace. We are. When we get beyond ourselves, beyond our concerns, doesn't mean we don't take care of our lives. Of course we do. But when we can get beyond, that is our sole focus, and reach out beyond ourselves, folks, we're going to create peace. This church is about creating peace in this world, about being love and action. What is ours to do? Let's stand on the shoulders of precious Alan Quay and Anjanae Quay. They're on the other side working on our behalf. Let's stand on their shoulders, and let's create and live into a vision in this community, folks, where we are actively being peace in our community and in our world. And your board and I want to hear from you. What is your vision of this beautiful campus? What is your vision of what is ours to do to be active peace and love in this world? We want to hear from you. Please come to the meeting on May 15th right after service and share with us your thoughts. All right? Okay, so this week I just invite you, start rumbling with where you're not feeling peaceful. Ask yourself, are you a victim? Work with it for a while, because the answer is really no. But it might take you a little bit to get there. That's okay. And then ask yourself, if I'm feeling funky and I'm not being able to get past myself, where can I go be in active service? Where can I reach out beyond myself and serve? Are you with me? And put May 15th on your calendar for our community meeting. All right, let's affirm the truth this morning together. As I serve, I am actively calling forth peace and love in the world. Yes, you are.